exactly what happened. Hey everybody, welcome to the Reef There podcast. My name is Pagan, and joining me as always is my co-host Dan.
I am ready.
Oh, fuck me! I don't even have a fucking wand. And joining us is no stranger to the show, Michelle. Hello, Michelle.
What's up, Michelle, and visual listeners?
And visual listeners. What's up? We're all very on theme today. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a Gryffindor, but my husband is. And I don't have a Ravenclaw. Are you really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a Gryffindor, and then everybody else in my life is a Hufflepuff, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
I am rocking my true colors.
Yeah.
Can't take
I'm
that
a
away from
Ravenclaw. It looks dope. I do need to get. I want to get the Ravenclaw official jumper and stuff like that, but it was quite expensive when I went there. But
they're very
fucking
expensive.
I know, but they look really good and they're good quality. I should have just picked one up next time. Next time, Warner Brothers. Next time. So welcome everybody. If it's not clear already, what we are going to do today is we're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy, which I'm so excited about. And that was on State of Play quite a while ago. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties during that episode, so Michelle couldn't join us. But we are picking that. We're picking that back up today with this discussion. But I wanted to start out with Michelle. I know that you're a very, very, very big fan of Harry Potter. So big, in fact, you have Harry Potter tattoos.
I do.
Yes. Let's see.
Yes.
For all you visual listeners.
Yeah, there's a lot in here. You're not going to be able to catch it all on the camera. Yeah. But we have, the Deathly Hallows symbol. We have the book, which specifically has the 3 stars on it. I have Hedwig up there. I have a lily down at the bottom. I have the envelope. I have the Hogwarts Express. Oh, and then there's the Marauders map and the Quidditch field that's in a Felix Phyllis's bottle. I have all of there's the snake. I have the Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs all over.
You have the Patronus.
I do have a Patronus. you can't really see it in here, but there is a silhouette of Dumbledore's nose and beard. And then the very top is Hogwarts.
Oh
this
my
is all
God.
on your arm for people who aren't watching.
That's amazing.
All on my lower arm. It's a half sleeve.
Yeah.
That's amazing. My brother has it on his shoulder. He's got Hedwig, and he's got the book, and then the book is open, and there's little footprints coming out of it, and
I love it.
It's like the real it's like the Hedwig is the artwork from the book. So it's actually I'm not a massive fan of that particular art style, that art book, but because it was the first book, it was from our childhood. It was that on the back of him. He's got a snitch as well. It's really cool.
I have a couple of things about this, which I obviously love it, and I should, but some of the imagery is taken from the movie, like the Felix Phyllis's bottle specifically. There you go. Is from the movie, and there's the dough in there and everything, and there's a wand on the side that's kind of making everything happen. And I would prefer it to be book related because I'm a bigger fan of the books.
Yeah,
but
same.
The imagery is still there, and it's still fine. The symbology is there.
It's the same. Absolutely is. Yeah. I've seen people do realistic, actual realistic Hedwig artwork. If you know what I mean, it's actually of that owl. And you're like, damn, that's fucking amazing. And there's obviously loads of people out there with Daniel Radcliffe and Hermione,
that's crazy.
Emma Watson tattoos. Yeah, it's wild.
I love that there's those horns for the stag, or antlers. There's a little rat right there. There is the footprint right there, and then there's a moon over here.
Nice.
So, yeah, there's a lot in it.
All right, so well versed. So we've got.
So you must be incredibly excited for Hogwarts Legacy.
I've rewatched the State of Play trailer several times.
Right, me too.
Yeah, several.
Well, let's get into it. I mean, I think previously when we were going to try and do this on a technical, we had technical errors.
Nobody knows Michelle was supposed to be here, Pagan.
Yeah, and that's okay.
She was
will
completely
say it.
Snuffed out from the last episode.
It's why we're delayed, and we do apologize. Is there anything about the game that you're hesitant about, Michelle, or is there anything that you're like, I don't know about this thing? Because I feel like if we start off with things that you liked, we'll be here all day. It looks unreal. So I'm thinking
I rewatched it again yesterday, and I will say the completionist in me has incredible anxiety already.
How I feel about Lego Star Wars.
Massive. It looks to the extent, if not bigger than Skyrim. And there are so many different levels of layers, I guess, of intricacies and things that you can do to level up your character, and it looks massive, which is not a bad thing, but it's going to be a lot to do.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about that.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. I'm fine with that. This is the game that I'm going to take time off work for.
So sure. Yeah, and I guess I should have prefaced, because both of you are kind of like, what's the problem? I am not an open world game player. I prefer linear story-based campaign games, Uncharted, Tomb Raiders, the stuff like that. Even the latest Tomb Raider was a little too open world for me, because you have all the side quests and all of these things that if you don't do them, then you don't fully complete the game. And I know it is like, it's an advancement of technologies and gameplay techniques to have all of these side quests and things to do, which is ironic because I'm a huge Destiny player, right? Which is as big as open world as you can get. Yeah. But like Uncharted and the original Tomb Raiders, and it's probably because I grew up playing those games, like the original Tomb Raiders, that didn't have all the side extras. I love just linear story-based, get the campaign done and you're done with the game, and then you fully finish it.
I'm actually super empathetic to that cause, because I have a similar problem with open world games. I have a very bad tendency to not finish open world games.
Yeah.
Like I have like so many games that I've started and I don't finish, especially like the games that are the worst offenders for that, to me, is the more recent, like Ubisoft games with their like checkpoints everywhere and like waypoints. Like you open the map and there's a million little dots everywhere. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with all that. Like, I'm like, and then I get distracted because I can't follow the story.
Like Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man was a little bad about that. I had the same problem with Ghost of Tsushima. But especially like, Horizon. Horizon did that to me bad too, where I'm like, by the time I'm like finished getting through an area and finishing all the side quests, I totally forget what I'm doing. I'm like, why am I here? Who am I? Why Aloy? What is Aloy? How is Aloy?
I think Spider-Man did it well though, because I think it was such a small area. Like,
correct. Yeah,
it was open world, but it's quite small, so you could just swing around and get everything done pretty quickly, and it's pretty easy to complete that one. But I
when
agree.
You open the map, you have like a million little dots, and you're like, should I go there? Should I go do that? Where do I go?
Yeah. See, I get what you're saying, but I think because it's on a smaller scale, I'm like, oh, cool. I'll just focus on this area, clear this area first, and then move on. Whereas I think with Horizon Zero Dawn, Witcher, fucking
Destiny.
Skyrim, everything like that, you're just like, oh god, it's never ending.
Like you mentioned Destiny again, and that's the thing that I think Destiny does it better, because there aren't a million little dots on the map.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and
it's a bigger. Yeah, it's a bigger open world, but you're not, when you open the map, you don't see all these objectives and all these waypoints everywhere. So you just
No, you don't.
It's a little bit more of a natural exploration.
And they're weekly, so if you finish some things, then they're going to get knocked off your map, and then you know what you have to do for the rest of the week.
Yeah, true.
So the other thing that I'm a little concerned about with Hogwarts bringing it back is I'm curious to see how the sorting ceremony goes. Like, do you have any input on where you get sorted, or are you just going to be randomly selected? Because I know a lot of people are going to want to do their own house and see their own common rooms.
It better be.
If they have time, they're probably going to want to go back and see everybody else's common rooms.
So there was a couple of speculations about this as well, because I know that some of my friends and I were talking about this, and I think that you will pick your house and your attributes then will be contributed to your house. So for example, like if you're picking Hufflepuff, you might be really charismatic, or like your biology or herbology skill level will probably be greater, or something like you'll have advantages per house.
Your house will determine your starting statistics, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
I gotcha. So like a Ravenclaw will probably have like a higher intelligence rating or something like that.
Exactly. Like it might be easier to skill up in class, say on a Ravenclaw, but it might be like you're better off facing beasts as a Gryffindor.
You know,
so I think that is maybe like my speculation. Somebody else did also say that they enjoy doing the sorting quiz, so potentially maybe they'll include both. Maybe it'll give you a thing where you say pick your house, or let the sorting hat sort you, so that you can have like a quick quiz, and then you can answer that and see what happens.
Well,
and the other thing. Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
like the other thing that they were speculating, it was just these three things. So either you pick them, you have both option to pick and a little quiz, or maybe it might be connected to your Pottermore account, so that you
I
can
think I thought I had seen that it would be connected to your Pottermore account, like if you could maybe log in at the beginning or something like that.
I don't know if they'll do it, but I think that it is kind of interesting because then you can really continue playing. Like, I mean, I have a Redwood wand and I have a
right, you know, your
Dolphin
wand and your
Patronus. Like, I know exactly. Yeah. But then there's like an element of fun being like, yeah, but I just want to be a fucking Hufflepuff for once, or I want to be a Gryffindor.
Well, I was gonna, if I may, in the recording that shall not be named from last time, we had talked about this briefly, and we had mentioned the sorting using the quiz, like the personality test that's on Pottermore.
Yes.
I feel like that would be a good suit, and maybe what would be a great fit if they're not already doing this is allow you to take the quiz and say, okay, based on your answers, this is what house you would be, but if you want, you can pick any house.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that, I think that would be the best flexibility / accessibility going into the game to give players, this is what you are based on your answers. But if you choose to play as something else, you can.
That would also make sense in terms of the sorting hat, because the sorting hat does take your requests or whatever into consideration. Yeah. So even he'll be like, well, you're a Gryffindor, but you can pick a house if you don't want Gryffindor.
They would lean into that because, like,
that would make sense.
In the books, Harry would have been a Slytherin, but because he wanted to be a Gryffindor, the hat said, okay, you're Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to create a new Sorting Hat song.
That I don't know. I
kind of want. Be fun.
I want the OG.
Oh, but you know what? Actually, didn't the gameplay trailer say that you're starting as a 5th year?
Yes.
You're starting as a 5th year. So
do you get sorted?
You would still get sorted because you're coming into Hogwarts. You've never been to Hogwarts before.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I like that.
Yeah, you're a 5th year. And I think like there was also a lot of debate about this, like why a 5th year? And my reasoning was you're old enough to cast any of those spells that you're not quite old enough to in the previous years. You also have special permissions, so you don't have any like restricted areas or anything like that at Hogwarts. You have all access. And disapparation is something that you learn in 5th year, and that is going to clearly take part a lot in this game. So I think being a 5th year or coming into 5th year makes sense. It also makes sense coming in as an outsider into Hogwarts, because that will give them reason to be like, well, let me explain this and let me explain that to us, the audience or the gamer.
Yeah,
so.
I would say that's short of if they made a game where you actually start as a 1st year and you grow up through years in Hogwarts. Like that would be a whole different experience. And maybe they played around with that. Maybe they started that way and then thought, man, you're going to spend 4 years not being able to do defensive, not being able to do offensive spells. You're only going to be doing the basic stuff, and like that's kind of boring. It's like,
well,
not necessarily.
They could have. Somebody could argue like, why can't you just like level up through your classes or whatever like that, which you could do. But I feel like what you're saying, Dan, is like it would take it completely a different direction than probably what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because it's so massive the way they have it now that if you had to spend time leveling up to get to that point, it would be a completely different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people did say that maybe it would be 5th year through 7th year. So that it's not just 5th year as a student.
Yeah, I mean, and we know that time passes in the game. Their season changes.
Right. And you can't apparate or disapparate within the grounds, but we do know that you like
can when you go out to
outside the castle. Yeah. And what was I going to say? And so part of the storyline is the Goblin Rebellion, which we know happens in the 1800s, and it says that this is in the 1800s. So
yes, which is cool. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah,
yeah, and I believe it's just when Dumbledore is going to be a student, so he could be a peer at Hogwarts that you'll.
So I've been thinking about that. I'm thinking that he might come by the time we are leaving. So if it is like 5 to 7,
like a little like, hey, hi cameo kind of thing.
So by the time like maybe the story is over, maybe like an end credit scene or something is going to be like
they passed Dumbledore.
Yeah, true. That'd be cool.
Like enjoy your time at Hogwarts.
Yeah. I like it.
Was that your only concern looking at the game?
So the completionist thing is a big deal for me. And then the sorting ceremony, I was a little concerned about, just because I don't know how they're going to do that, obviously.
Sure.
I did have something really stupid, which we discussed before. Which is, so when I first started watching the trailer, I was like, oh no, I got really mad because it looked like they were taking creative liberties with the professors, but that was before it explained that it was in the 1800s. But then it did this little trailer of little shot of like Professor Binns teaching history of magic. And it irked me the wrong way, ruffled my feathers for some stupid reason, because I was like, that means that they're determining that Professor Binns is already a ghost, because right in the books, he died in his chair teaching and he just got up and went on with his day, didn't know he died.
Well, what about Headless Nick?
So Nick is there, yeah,
Nick
which makes
died
sense.
In a while, yeah.
Yeah,
he died
and he
in
still
the
wants to do the Headless Hunt.
Yeah.
And so with Professor Binns, it was just kind of like, well, they're saying that he died already, and they never said when he died, and it like bugged me for some stupid reason.
So
I
did. You have discussed this with me before, and I did Google it, and I was like, no, because that never bothered me, because I was like, no, he is dead. Like, he's been dead for ages, and it turns out it does give you a Google description. They don't know when he died, but they estimate he died between the mid 1800s, and he had to have died before 1942, before the Chamber of Secrets were open for the first time. So he died at some point in that time, and because this game is set in the late 1800s. He could have just been He could have just been dead 1 year in this.
Yeah.
Game.
Why did he have to die before the Chamber of Secrets was opened?
Because he didn't remember the chamber being open before.
Okay.
I believe, like it said that in the second book or whatever, like that they were asking him about the Chamber of Secrets, and he didn't know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the 1942, I think, when the first chamber was opened. First time the chamber was opened.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. I am very interested to look at all of the new professors, though, because I think Harry Potter has kind of been like not done to death, but we have seen so many iterations of like these characters, and we've gotten to know these characters for so long, and we have them so well like versed. It's really nice to be put into the same world, but at a different time, and introduce new characters, different characters, and like that. I also really appreciate going back in time rather than forward or in present times or anything like that.
That relates
I think
to
it makes
my
sense.
excitement and love for the Fantastic Beasts series, because like I love that it's set in the same universe but in a different time period.
Yeah.
The herbology professor looks really cool. I want to get to know her a little bit. She looks neat.
I was also gonna
totally
say how I don't know what the legal side of things are right now with J.K. Rowling and whatnot, but I'm hoping that anything that they do as a studio is like canon, and they have liberties to create things within that canon to add to the overall story arc of
the way other
Harry
things
Potter
typically go with Harry Potter, I would hope / assume that she's at least part of it, because typically she approves a lot of things. And she has a lot of, she at least has her fingers in most of things that come out. For this, I'm not really sure, but it is a pretty inclusive game, so I would hope / assume that she had a little bit of part of it or say in it.
As far as I know, people feel free to put this in the comments if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, she doesn't have anything to do with the game or the story.
I felt like that's what I had heard too.
Interesting.
But she owns the rights to Harry Potter, so she will still get some sort of revenue, I believe, from this thing. Like, because she owns a license, basically. Warner Brothers didn't buy her out of the license of Harry Potter, so she owns a license, so they have to pay a licensing fee. But other than that, I think they are able to take creative liberties where possible. Like, if it's something outrageous, I don't think she would have even signed a contract for, I'm sure. But
that's interesting. I wonder how that works.
Yeah, like you can't just can't just introduce guns at Hogwarts. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So but what I think maybe would have happened was she would have had a production meeting regarding all of this speculation here, and then that team showed them what they wanted to do. And was like, here's the thing. And that team, when you watch State of Play again and like look at the team at the end and listen to what they're saying, they have read the books like 1,000 times creating this game, because they're such big fans that they want to stick to everything as possible. So we just know for sure that there wouldn't be any creative liberties. And then I'd say that she's probably had a contract to that effect as well, to say that like you can't just put in blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's had an actual hand in anything in relation to this project Again, don't know. Please don't quote me on that. Like, you can put that in the comments if I'm wrong.
Well,
but I think that it's not, but she will still get some kind of
I wonder
reimbursement.
how that relates to the Fantastic Beasts series, because the Fantastic Beasts movies aren't based on books, right? They're
No,
like
but she does
completely
have part of that. I think
does
she's an
have
executive
books.
producer in those.
right,
Yeah,
right. But
yeah.
there's a Fantastic Beast book, but
Yes.
it's a pretty confined story, though, isn't it? Like I can't say I've read that one
So the Fantastic Beasts book is
all the way through.
actually Fantastic Beasts
Fantastic
in the
Beasts,
world of Harry Potter and their definition and what they are.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
like
It's not
it's a
actually a
literal,
story.
like
It's
a
not a
book.
story. No,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But I
exactly.
think she was a producer on those
That's what I'm saying,
films.
though, is that those films' story was completely original and created for the films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
But
Yeah.
she had a hand in it, I believe.
Right. So
I
that's
don't
where
even
I'm
know about the
hoping that
script
the
writing. I
games
think she
have
did.
the ability to do that as well.
Yeah, I think she also had a hand in the script writing in the first one, possibly.
I think so. Yeah.
Again, I'm not sure.
But that
yeah,
kind of
she's more heavily involved in that.
I do have a qualm against, which is completely random, books being turned into movies, and specifically for Harry Potter. Reasoning is because I love the movies, I do kind of, but
Kind of.
I love that they were able to be expanded for more people to enjoy. We'll say that.
Yes.
And so where Harry Potter is today is just astounding to me because it's been a love of mine forever. Being a little girl growing up in Bumfuck, West Virginia, and the great thing about
Cute
it, though, or
name.
the thing that I don't enjoy about it is it takes all imagination away, which is kind of why some people like movies.
Mhm.
But I read the books close to 1,000 times easily, over and over and over and over and over. And I had my own way of saying things, which incorrect or correct doesn't matter. I had my own way of picturing things and how she, painted the scenes and painted the pictures and the people. And then the movies take that immediately away. And you then have your own visual or you have a visual that's being given to you and not, you don't have your own. So it's similar with this. What I enjoy about the state of play that I saw is it's all of these people who are huge fans taking their own images of what they saw when they were reading the books and making it their own and putting it into a different time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I just appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, same. I think I totally agree. I actually am not a massive fan of the movies. I like the first 3. The fourth one was okay, and then the rest of them I really just don't like them. It's nothing to the production or anything like that. I'm not a massive fan of the direction. I just don't really like how they've condensed those books into the display that they did. Love the actors.
I like the 5th
I
movie.
think they're great, but
the 6th movie was meh, and then 7 and 8 were just like they felt like way too long.
They chopped some stuff together and they've missed massive chunks of time and research and effort and story and relationships. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't just them together and make it make sense. And that's why I think that's why it didn't make sense to me as a reader.
Here's an interesting take, maybe, because I assume were both of you like you read the books before you watched the movies?
Oh, way before. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm the other way around. I watched the movies first, then I read the books.
Well, the books were still coming out as the movies were in development.
I didn't watch them right away, though. I didn't watch the later Harry Potter movies for several years.
So the first movie came out in 2001, and the third book, I think, had either just come out or it was still coming out.
Right, and I didn't start watching Harry Potter movies until the 4th one came out.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm very late to Harry Potter. I was very late to it. I tried reading the first book in like the late 2000s, but I didn't really get a chance to, and I didn't get into it. I was like, oh, I know this is really popular. I know they're making a movie. I want to check it out. And for whatever reason, I didn't get to actually read it.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to 2015 or so, I had seen all the movies. I was like, man, these last 2 movies are kind of dull. I don't really know what the hell's going on. I don't understand
so much to uncover.
Well, here's the thing: is I then went back and read all the books.
Yeah.
And when I read the final book, I was like, oh my god, there's so much weight and depth to the Deathly Hallows that I did not get from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just didn't portray that. I didn't understand what was happening in the movies until I read the books, and now I'm like, oh.
I think ultimately, it came down to not only direction, but probably stuff the studio wanted. I imagine that's probably what they did. So I think probably I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they did the best that they could with what they had to do for the studio to meet these guidelines, etc. Because I mean, at that point, it was a well-earning, money-making machine, and they're like, "You got to hit these beats so we can get $6 million off this one section," that kind of thing. So yeah, I think they did the best the best that they could with what they had, but the books, in my opinion, are far superior.
Anyways, the game looks great.
Anyway, the game looks fantastic. And actually, on Michelle's note, like, I'm the same. When books are translated into film, if I'm a fan of the books, I'm like, I don't really know how you're going to do this. But the game looks like what I've always wanted. Because obviously in the books, like, you're concentrated about Harry and his story and the relationships with all of that. And the world is fantastic, but a lot of that comes down to relationships, especially after, the third book and in the third book, essentially, right? You're kind of concentrating on all of that. Whereas this now is just like, hey, it's magic. And I'm like, yeah. It looks so good.
Like, who doesn't want to explore Hogwarts, right? Like, Hogwarts looks awesome. Yes. And the fact that they like took a completely different section out of the gameplay trailer to be like Hogwarts and exploration, and like there's secret passageways and there's little dungeons and there's this and there's that you can go do. And it's just like, fuck yeah. Like, I hope with the campaign they give you time to just explore. I hope it's not like a timed thing and you have to get certain things done. And I hope you can just kind of walk around the castle and be like, there's this and there's that, and go explore things, because
they certainly really hinted at it in that state of play that you can.
Yeah. I think it will be, because I think one of the developers was like, I was supposed to do this one thing, but then got lost 45 minutes in Hogwarts because I was just exploring. I think it'll be definitely like that. It'll be kind of like on the Horizon Zero Dawn vibe, I think, where it's like, hey, you got to go do this next thing, and to progress the story, you've got to go here and talk to this person. But then it like gives you control of the world, and you could go and do whatever you want and then go talk to that person.
The other thing I'm kind of curious about, there's two things actually, you just brought one up, is if it's one of those games that's kind of like you can choose the dialogue, which then progresses the story a certain way.
True.
I don't know if that's how it's going to do it. And then the other thing that I'm curious about are your companions. So they make a big point to tell you that you have a companion. And there was a shot where you have like a Hufflepuff companion with the Gryffindor student. So I don't think it's house specific. But I'm also wondering if no matter who you choose, so if I choose that Hufflepuff companion, if you choose that Hufflepuff companion, will it be the same story? Will it be the exact same experience with that companion? You know what I mean?
I think so, only for like budget and time and things like that.
For
as well.
Storytelling purposes too.
To create so many different stories, I think it'll work. I think like in the trailer they showed you a couple of those characters, and like, you could go with this Hufflepuff, or you could go with this Gryffindor, or whatever. Those people will progress your story the same way that it'll progress everybody else's story.
Because regardless of what character you make, you're still playing the same story.
Correct. Yeah.
I think there'll be like different companions around the school, maybe, that can help you get to something. So it's not always going to be those one companions. So I think like those companions will help you progress in your story. And then I think that if you come across a trial or like a puzzle or something like that that's Slytherin specific, you might have to go and find a Slytherin companion.
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
Talk to them and see, can they give you the password for their dormitory, or maybe if they'll help you, you're gonna need a Slytherin because they can speak Parseltongue or something. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
That makes sense, because the one that they did show in the trailer with the Hufflepuff, they were doing herbology things, and she was like naming a plant. So that would be, I didn't think about it that way. I thought that maybe whoever you decide to go with is who you're with the entire game. That would be much more immersive if you're able to kind of just go be like, shit, I need a Slytherin, let me go get one.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it'll be like I say, very specific people. They'll just be plotted around Hogwarts. That's my speculation anyway.
Yeah, so I also saw a theory of, in the game, you end up being related to Merlin. And if you watch the gameplay trailer, there are a lot of little things about Merlin. He's on like a stained glass window. There's a lot of Merlin like narrative. So I'm interested to see if that comes true.
That's cool. It makes me think of like the ancient magic and stuff like that, and I think that's really cool because it's something we really haven't explored as Harry Potter fans.
It could also explain some of the background as to why you're able to join Hogwarts as a 5th year.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a story related thing there, like either your life is in danger or something like that, and you have to go to Hogwarts because of this thing, and maybe it's like a little secret or something like that. Because the goblins and whoever the fancy evil villain person in the top hat are looking for you and are just like, shit, this kid, is powerful. So I think there's going to be a much deeper storyline there, which I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't just stop at the Goblin Rebellion, right? Because that's already been revealed. We know the Goblin
I'm sure
Rebellion
that's
is
just a
happening.
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I hope
they're not going to tell us more. Not yet, anyways. Hopefully they don't spoil too much. I don't want to be spoiled.
What I kind of hope happens is, I kind of hope that they're going to spin this Goblin Rebellion like, ooh, that's evil, that's bad. And then at the end be like, oh shit, they have a fucking point though. Like, I kind of hope that you're just like, oh, like, and you can see that they're like the hero of their own story and be like, well, we've been oppressed for this many times and this many years and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is why we're rising up. And you're like, oh yeah, you're not actually just like evil people. You're
not
have
assholes.
A legit story. Yeah. I think that's what I want. I kind of want like a heroic twist almost, that you're just kind of like, oh, we're the villains. Like,
right. Well, and if you think about it, that's how they kind of try to twist it for the house elves. I mean, we're kind of not really great to them.
I know. For fucking Hermione just keeps like leaving shit around the house for them, and they're like, can you stop? We don't want to be free. We like Hogwarts. Fuck off.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone, Hermione.
Speaking of, we get to go in the kitchens.
I know.
Yeah, right?
I'm so excited.
So cool. We get to go like see them work and see how it happened. That's so cool. I wanted that to happen in the movies, and then of course it didn't. I'm also curious if Peeves is there.
Oh, he's in the trailer.
Did they show him? Yeah, I thought they showed Peeves.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I missed
he's in the jester. He's in the jester outfit, floating behind your character.
Okay. You're right.
It's just because he's not see-through that you're like, but he's a poltergeist, so why would he?
Yeah,
correct.
I know they said his name specifically and saying that he'll cause mischief from time to time.
You're right.
Kind of thing.
I'm retarded. I missed that. I forgot about it. I got
no. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be exciting to see Peeves, and I want to see the hassle that he causes.
Yeah.
And have your relationship with the ghosts and stuff like that is gonna be really cool. I have to say though, the kitchen, one of the best features in that trailer, because I was like, finally, like I really wanted to see this.
Representation.
It was but it was huge, right? Because as a kid, I was like, oh, magic, the food just appears. And when they tell you why the food appears, I was like, holy shit, that makes so much sense. I did not think of this. And that's really cool. So I'm really excited to see that. I'm excited to explore the prefect's bathroom as well, something we've never seen in the movie to an extent. You only see it in the fourth one a little bit, right? You only kind of just get a glimpse of it.
It's interesting that we know exactly that it's the prefect's bathroom because it looks how it's supposed to look.
Yeah. This massive swimming pool of a bath.
Yeah. And then the room of requirement is there.
Can we take a moment for the room of requirement? What a fucking genius
how
move.
Perfect of a game mechanic is that?
How beautiful. That room was written for you, friends. Oh, that looks so good.
I was going to say, because in the episode that won't be named, we had talked about the room of requirement, and I said that one of my bigger concerns and worries was that when they show the footage of the room of requirement and they show like the plants growing or the potions brewing, they had times on them. It was like 29 minutes and 34 seconds. And that made me go, I really hope that's not a gotcha, like pay $1 to make this happen now kind of thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Especially because Portkey, as I know, and people can fact check this, I believe this is their first full-fledged actual console game. And prior to that, they've only done the mobile Harry Potter games, which are gotcha games to an extent. So I was like, I hope they're not going to try to.
The format of mobile games are typically gotcha games, so hopefully they were able to kind of.
But they did say in a press release after that trailer came out that there are no microtransactions, there are no paid DLC. It's a single player game.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a confined experience.
Which is great, and
I'm really happy about that. And I'm like, okay, so potion brewing, taking time, makes sense, understandable. It takes time to brew. It's got to sit there for a couple of days.
Yeah, Polyjuice potion takes 30 days.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I get it.
Well, I think that I was saying this previously when we had this conversation, is that I can understand that the frustration of oh, this thing's going to take 27 minutes. Ugh, I need to go do this thing now. So you're going to have to explore. So it might force you to explore a little bit. But also I think with the more skills you achieve or the more classes you attend, the quicker your stuff is going to take. Like
Makes
so,
sense.
like the quicker it'll be to brew the potion or grow
And
the
that might be
plant
in
or whatever.
the herbology build tree is like, you can grow
Exactly.
plants 10% faster, 15% faster.
Exactly. And I think that dependent on your house, you'll have. So I think it's in Slytherin, your potions might be quicker. Or in herbology, or sorry, in Hufflepuff, your herbology plants growing, stuff like that, is going to be quicker. And I have to say that I think the room of requirement is such a fucking genius move. And being able to customize it to the player, like there's an area where you can fully customize it. That looks so
it's
cool
the
and
beast
unique.
area. It's the area where you
Yeah,
can
it's the
house
area
your
where you
beasts.
beasts.
And you
That's
can
right.
build
That's
your
right.
own custom houses and
Yeah.
layouts and places for your beast to live. I actually kind of geeked pretty hard at that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, I want
Harry Potter.
especially if it was like you could have like a little briefcase that you could climb into. I'd be all about that.
Yeah, I want all the cute creatures. I can't wait.
I gotta tame
and
them all.
I think one of the biggest things,
Well,
like
not
other
tame
than the
them,
room of
but
requirement,
house
right?
them.
With the yeah, tame them all.
You don't tame magical creatures.
No, they just work with you.
Yeah.
But you can like brush them with a little magic brush and all, and the Niffler just goes, it's so cute. Okay, anyway. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But what the biggest thing other than the room of requirement for me, which I thought was fucking dope, was the practical application of herbology. Other than in the first book / movie, when she falls into, or sorry, when the kids fall into Devil's Snare, there was really hardly any practical use of herbology. And I'm like, oh, why do we use this then? And then we talk about the mandrakes and stuff. I was like, yeah, but
not until the second one. Yeah, when the mandrakes come in and
and you're just kind of like, okay, great. And then it just was forgotten about the rest of the time. And I'm
other than gillyweed,
cool. Yeah. True. And that was a plant anyway from
Dobby.
Bartis. Crouch. That's it.
Barty Crouch.
Barty Crouch. There we go. But anyway, so I think that the practical application of herbology in like action in like combat seems really cool. Because we haven't seen that.
And they hint at something about saying, or you can use the magic that your professors don't understand to eviscerate your enemies. And then he like does a Thor like lightning.
A lightning bolt? Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh my Jesus, like what is my power? Which is another thing leading into like the Merlin thing. Like maybe I'm a lineage, the family lineage of Merlin, which is pretty cool.
I'm wondering about the ability to do the killing curse. Does that mean there's going to be a morality system?
There was a scene in the trailer where there was a green spout of magic that was like,
you can hear it.
They say
Avada Kedavra.
Yeah. Like they say you can do the killing curse. So it's like, is that a thing you can just do at no consequence, or does it mean you're a bad wizard?
All right,
I'm kind of like, do it. If you can do it with no consequence, then that is a poor form to the
right. That's kind of like how I see it.
I think they will, for that reason, for what Michelle said, they're going to have morality choices in the game for sure. Because you'll just become a renowned evil genius.
So we mentioned it a second ago. How do you guys feel about it being like a single player?
I'm okay with it.
So
honestly.
Good. Are you going to think or want them to implement being able to explore Hogwarts with your friends?
It depends on the challenges that would be there for that. Like I can understand like Destiny, where you all kind of team up or whatever, and you go do a raid and all this kind of stuff. I think that's cool, but it would totally depend on the challenges. I don't see the point, if I'm honest. I'm like, yeah, cool. I could have just done this myself. I don't really understand it. Maybe there'll be like options to do a Quidditch match or something cool.
Well, what if they make it like not necessarily story specific, and they just make it to where kind of like Hogwarts is like the tower in Destiny, where you can just go hang out. You can explore things. You can just go hang out. You can be chatting. You can do like some of the secret passageways. Go, with something like that. It would be cool. I think it would be a lot of work on their end. But it would just be cool. Like if I could be chatting with one of you, like we're sitting in Hogwarts Castle, like, oh, come here, look at this moving staircase. That's fucking cool.
Would you prefer that though? Like, would you actually? Because I am
not when it comes to the story. No, I am fine with it being a single player as we're progressing through the game and I'm doing my own thing. But after we're finished with it, and if you just want to hang out in the world of Harry Potter, which is the reason of reading the book so many times, and you get to do that with friends, that would be really cool.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I'm just not a multiplayer kind of person in that way.
I'm not either.
No, yeah. I
Hogwarts.
get you. But I'm just kind of like, I would rather just meet up with my friends and talk about the like Harry Potter. But I totally understand what you're saying. Like in Halo and stuff, that's different. Like you're just hanging and chilling, and it's a good time.
For me, I could say I'm a little upset that there's no co-op aspect, but that's more
Oh,
because I know people would have appreciated being able to co-op the game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I could say specifically, like Brandy was really hoping that we'd be able to play through and experience that story together.
Together, yeah.
If it was a fixed like control, like 2, maybe 3 people
yeah.
max, like, and you play through the missions of the story together in some sort of reasonable, sensible way, I would be terrified that they take like an Avengers approach to it and they make it that kind of like games as a service or Destiny approach to it. I
Mm-hmm.
would think it has to be a hard fixed, like it's multiplayer, but it's really limited to like you can play through the missions, like especially with the open world aspect. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
they probably weighed their options when it came to multiplayer. They might have at one point considered it or had it, testing for multiplayer. And maybe this would be cool if they added it later, maybe as like a DLC or a
Mhm.
download. Like more games are doing that. Like
Yeah.
Halo is going to add a co-op mode. Returnal just added a co-op mode. If they
That's
can
right.
figure out a way to do it smartly, I'd be down because I would love to explore Hogwarts with a friend.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I'm interested also to see as time goes on because it says it's going to be released around the holidays of this year. If you're able to pre-order it, which I'm sure you will be able to, what kind of rewards they'll give you for pre-orders, because that's
mm,
going to also kind of give you a little hint as to how you're going to be able to play or like some of the features in the game, because whatever they kind of give you is going to be a little hint into this is what you can use this for or something like that.
Mm.
A little
I
bit
don't
of a
know if
feature.
I don't think I've ever pre-ordered a game. And I
I've
don't think
pre-ordered
I
almost
would now.
every Destiny expansion.
This is amazing.
mm,
So
I'm just not. I don't think I'm just not about it. I'm not about the pre-order. I'd rather just get it on release. Especially because like they introduced like way back when that you could just get digital copies, right? You don't need to get the physical copy anymore. I will get the physical copy, and honestly, if there's like a cool fucking exclusive edition or like a legacy edition or something, I don't know, a legendary edition, I don't know, something cool
see,
with
I'm a
like
sucker for
models
like
or a wand or
statues and
something.
things. Like all the
Yeah,
statues I have specifically from like collector's editions and things. My
yeah.
collector's edition
yeah,
Resident Evil. You know,
I'm a
I think
very
if they brought something like
tangible
that out,
item thing.
yeah. I want that. Like I definitely want that, but I don't think I will be pre-ordering anything because I don't see. Yeah, I
Yeah,
I
I'm
see what you
so
mean because then you're like, oh well, that'll like give me like some benefits and all. Some kind of like yeah, but I don't technically agree with that. I don't think people who pre-order the game should be getting any extra stuff because I'm like we're still paying the same money for the same game.
oh, that's an
I'm just paying it
interesting
on the
that's
day
been
rather
an
than pre-ordering
incentive
it.
conversation.
So
system for pre-ordering since they started doing
yeah, I know.
pre-orders back in like the late, or I'd say
Probably why
early
I'm like,
2000s.
pre-orders.
I can
Like,
That's
remember
no,
an
the
thank
interesting
earliest
you.
of pre-orders. Like
conversation.
I remember going into like Toys R Us or Walmart, and they'd be like, "You can pre-order this game," and I'm like, "Why would I do that?" And they're like,
But why?
"Well, you can pay for it now and then get it when it comes out." Like, okay, or I can just pay
Very
for
true.
it then.
Yeah.
You know, and
Interesting.
it was like companies started doing pre-orders as a way to incentivize that people are gonna buy the game from them. So
Mm.
they're
Yeah,
ensnaring
yeah,
the
true,
person to
true, true.
buy it from them early, and that's why our pre-order started getting bigger and bigger and bigger because it was companies fighting for the dollar. Like,
Okay, that's
So
you
fair.
know
I'm a really
I see what
big
you mean.
tangible item person. So even when digital order things started coming out, I was not a big fan. I'm like, no, I want to have this and look at it and see it. So I have tons of games, the disc games, and on my PS4, you needed the disc, and then the PS5 came out with a version of not using the disc, and I'm like, but now I need the PS5 because I have all these discs for my PS4.
Right.
And I would want to buy it anyway. The only thing that I have bought recently that is digital only are the last few expansions on Destiny because they're expansions. So they're gonna be digital only. I would prefer to have a disc copy
Disc.
of like The Witch
Mhm.
Queen, which that would be fucking cool. And Hogwarts Legacy, I am getting everything possible to that says Hogwarts
I want it
Legacy
all,
on it.
please. Yeah, sign me
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
But you also
give it
made me think
all.
of something because it is called Legacy. Merlin is a legacy. Legacy.
Well, it's supposed to be that way, right? It's supposed to be like you have this unhidden. You have the secret power, and that's what the goblins are after, and all this kind of stuff.
Correct.
And you're like, yeah. I mean,
So
sure.
are we the
it's
reason
all
for
this
the Goblin
chosen one
Rebellion?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
This chosen one, right? So I'm excited to. I think about this game every day. I'm not even joking. Since this has been announced as like teased, I have thought about this game every day, and then since State of Play, it's just gotten more intense, and I'm like, I can't wait to play this game.
It's
just
definitely
need a
always
release
come
date, like a book time off work, like really, really do.
I need to plan vacation months in advance.
People did that for the Witch Queen expansion release just now. I think I'll probably do
for The Last of Us Part 2. It took a day, which is a Friday. Because it came out on a Friday, so I was like, dope. Take the Friday off, and then I got the 3 days to play this game. Unreal. So I'm hoping something similar happens with Hogwarts. Hey, listen, devs, if you're listening, a Friday would be great.
But so they do say holiday. So does that mean it's going to come out around Black Friday time, or is it going to be a Christmas release?
Holiday usually implies November or December.
Yeah, correct. It depends. It could go from anywhere between October.
The holiday season in gaming releases is November and December.
Which I'm so excited about. Please, God.
So if it comes out in November, nobody's going to see me at Christmas.
Same. Take care, everybody.
I will be busy.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
My son will be in his room from November to December.
Yeah, I can't wait. I just can't wait to get lost. I'm just so excited about this fucking game.
It's fucking awesome.
Calm down,
man.
And the character customization looks dope. I can't. I want to play as a different person in every house. I just want so many save files, and I just want to pick.
And it looks like, you don't know if it's Gringotts or not, but it does look like you might be able to see like the underneath of Gringotts.
That's true, which makes me think, can we get into Diagon Alley? Because it wasn't in the trailer.
Open world.
It wasn't in State of Play. It was only Hogsmeade and like the area surrounding Hogwarts, which is in the middle of the countryside, right?
And you do fly a hippogriff.
And you do fly a hippogriff, which is so cool. Like room exploration and the hippogriff exploration thing looks amazing. Now I do have to say, somebody had brought this up in a video that I watched somewhere, and they were like, I wonder how they would limit you to do that, right? Because they're not going to put like see-through walls. But I'm kind of like, but isn't there an enchantment around Hogwarts to protect them? So you might just hit the enchantment and be like, shit, I can't go out there. And then you have to fly back. Because that makes sense. Like if they're going to give you a broom, you're just going to keep flying the rest of the world. So that makes sense. If there's an enchantment around Hogwarts, somebody brought that up and I was like, but there's an enchantment to protect
and it
Hogwarts.
Doesn't expand into Hogsmeade because you can apparate and disapparate within Hogsmeade, but you can't within the grounds. So.
Exactly. But you have to there's a specific way to get into Hogsmeade and stuff like that as well. And I don't think it's because broom and beast flight has been prohibited basically through these enchantments in Hogwarts. You just walk to Hogsmeade. Or disapparate, like you said.
Or train.
Oh good.
Or
the train. Oh.
The
train station, the Hogsmeade train station looks so cute.
We're never gonna get to talk about the PlayStation Plus, are we?
This came out on State of Play, and no, this is interesting, but it isn't exclusive to PlayStation.
No.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to highlight that earlier. Hogwarts Legacy, although coming out on State of Play, is not PlayStation.
No,
however,
it was a PlayStation State of Play.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this game.
But for those, if you didn't know, Hogwarts Legacy is coming to all major consoles and I believe PC.
Yes. Which is going to be so cool. I myself will be playing this on PlayStation.
Same.
I hope it's
possibly Xbox.
Crossplay wouldn't matter, honestly, because
what if
it gets on Game Pass?
Yeah, that goes into the co-op thing, though, right? So if it's a single-player game, then crossplay doesn't need to be a thing.
There's no way I could come out on Game Pass. If it came out on Game Pass, I'd be very surprised. Now,
Game Pass has also had a lot of WB games before, though.
True.
Okay.
True.
Sorry, go ahead.
But this is such a massive game.
I know.
I don't know.
They pay a lot of money to get games on Game Pass. So
you know what though? What is interesting though is if it is available on Game Pass, if it does become available on Game Pass, which is a high likelihood. Like, let's just be real, it could. It is a great thing about Xbox Game Pass is same day release. So
unless
if it releases on the 1st of April, If it released on the 1st of April and it comes out in Game Pass, it is available on the 1st of April. With PlayStation Plus, which was recently announced regarding the new membership tiers and kind of the combination of PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus. As far as I know, it is not same day release.
Well, they did say it was specific to PlayStation Studios games. Won't be day one.
Yeah, but they won't be day one. But then, like, I mean, would they really get Hogwarts? Like, say it's available in Game Pass. I don't think they're gonna have that available
I mean,
same
it's
day.
possible. You know, they did have Grand Theft Auto on PlayStation Now day one.
True.
There was a
So
PlayStation.
I didn't see the announcement for PlayStation Plus. What did they say was happening?
So essentially, it's been rumored for a couple of weeks now that Sony was working on a form of Game Pass, but that was called Project, or was it Spartacus?
Project Spartacus, yeah.
And then now that they've officially released the tier systems that they're going to come out with, that's going to effectively, it's going to dissolve PlayStation Now.
Mhm.
Okay.
So PlayStation Now is going away, but it's being pushed into PlayStation Plus. So
Okay.
PlayStation Plus will have what's called the Essentials plan, which is what everybody has now. It's what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you will become a PlayStation Plus Essential member.
Okay.
And nothing changes. But then they're going to add, is it 3 more tiers on top of that?
Just 2 more tiers on top of that, so you'll have the next tier.
Was it premium? And I forget now. Off the top of my head,
Premium is the top one.
Yeah. So essentially, you pay. I think it's $15 a month for the next tier up, and that's going to include basically what PlayStation Now was. So you're going to be able to start streaming and playing games through a membership.
Okay.
Similar, like kind of what PlayStation Now already
is. Like PlayStation Now, yeah.
And then the premium membership is going to be $18 a month, and that's supposed to add in select like PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 games, as well as streaming of old backwards compatible games, including PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP.
So cool.
Which that is the thing I'm most excited about, if that's true.
Yes.
So
sorry, it's PlayStation Plus Essential, which is the one that we're on, like that I'm on right now.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus Extra, which will add 400 playable games for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and that is about $15 a month. Yeah, $15 a month. Now, again, the yearly prices are much cheaper. Like overall, like you said, if you buy over year. And then PlayStation Plus Premium, like Dan said, will add another 340 games. So altogether, you'll have 700 plus games available on PlayStation Plus to play, and a lot of them will be the backwards compatible game, kind of. You know what I mean? So like there'll be the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. PS3 and PSP games as well, which I think you're right, Dan. That is probably the most exciting announcement that they've had. Now, they did also mention that they were going to do both streaming and download options. Not a fan of the streaming options because
neither.
I think that's kind of shitty. But
if you have the, go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Yeah, if you have the broadband. Like I was going to say, like in Ireland in particular, sometimes the fucking internet is shit.
My experience with PlayStation Now streaming isn't great. And I don't understand why they can't just add downloads. Like, why not?
You download it, yeah.
And I think, if I remember correctly on that marketing they put out, it says for like the PS5 games through streaming.
Customers can stream games using PS4 and PS5 consoles and PC.
I feel like there was a different bit that said that the games that are going to be like newer games are going to be streaming almost specifically. I felt like that was a part of it, and that made me go, ooh, especially like a PS5 game.
I'll probably be a rare breed in this, but that actually doesn't bother me much because typically I'm going to stick with what I have, which is like the PS Plus or whatever now and the Essential or whatever. Because if I have a game I want to play, I buy it. And then I use, the PS Plus to obviously play online if I need to. But all the excess games, I don't have time for that. If I have a game I want to play, I buy it and I play it. And then all the extras and all the excess, which is super, they're great. I've never taken advantage of a PS Now game, ever. So I'm okay.
Same, but I just don't like PS Now. I've not really had a great experience with that because a lot of that is streaming. But
the counterpoint, but Game Pass.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, but
I was
Game
emphasizing
Pass
your point.
Yeah, it's fucking unreal. Like Game Pass is so good because I have been introduced or been exposed to Yeah, that's right. The exact word I was looking for is exposed. I've been exposed to more games that I wouldn't have even thought of trying. Tunic, for example, looked amazing. Did I want to buy it? Did I want to play it? Probably not. But I've picked it up on Game Pass. Like, I saw it on Game Pass. I was like, oh, this looks great. Downloaded it and played it, and I'm addicted. It's so good.
I love Tunic.
It's so Game Pass monthly subscription service through Xbox?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And you can, the one that I have is Game Pass Ultimate, so it's Xbox and PC.
Is it like PS Now, essentially?
It's way better and different.
Right, but like the structure.
Similar, yes. But also, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, it also folds in Xbox Gold, so it's the plus now.
Right.
Okay.
It's that combo deal.
Yep. Okay.
But you can get Game Pass standalone. The Ultimate is the combo package deal.
Yeah, I've just heard a lot about like great things about Game Pass. Obviously, I'm a PlayStation player. I don't do Xbox. I don't have it. My fiance has it. I've never really played an Xbox like ever, except maybe once ever.
Mm-hmm.
So the PlayStation thing.
You could play Xbox games on your PC with Game Pass.
Yeah,
that would require a gaming PC.
Yeah,
but you can stream too. Like Game Pass also includes game streaming through xCloud, and it works surprisingly well.
Like, wow, so they're much better than everything that Sony is offering right now.
Which is why I think Sony has been pushed to make this decision. The other thing is like Xbox, I haven't really been introduced to this kind of style of gameplay or game structures, right? Through streaming services like Xbox, and since the last year, maybe, right? So only in the last year have I ever been experienced Game Pass, and it's so good. And then I was like, why the fuck doesn't PlayStation have something like this? It's so good. And then, of course, it does have PlayStation Now, but I've never been a big fan of it. Like, I don't really enjoy streaming games. The internet here is kind of shitty. So I never really liked it. And I always stayed away from Xbox because I thought the majority of games on Xbox just didn't suit me. I wasn't into Call of Duty. I wasn't into FIFA. I wasn't into anything like that. Yeah, I wasn't into
Those
Halo.
Games are all on PlayStation too.
I know. But to be fair, when I was being marketed to, a lot of my marketing was through like Crash Bandicoot and fucking Spyro and stuff like that. Like I never really played Link either, which is Nintendo.
And Xbox owns those now.
Yeah, I know, right? Fuckers. But I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna pick this up, and we have one, and I thought I'm gonna pick up Xbox Game Pass specifically because I built the gaming PC, and it's just changed everything. So PlayStation Plus with this kind of new upgrade, I'm very much looking forward to. I do want to get your take, though, Dan, on PlayStation Premium, which obviously does include the backwards compatible games like the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 games, etc. Obviously, Xbox has always been backwards compatible, which is beautiful. But I want to know, Xbox currently only has 100 playable titles at the moment on Game Pass. Whereas this PlayStation Plus will
marketing, but Game Pass has more than 100 games on it.
Interesting.
They always say
this will be
100 plus.
True.
But there are more than 100 games on Game Pass.
This is going to be 700 plus.
Jesus.
True. So first of all, I want to start off by saying I'm so happy that they're listing like retro game stuff on here. It may not be all that great because if it's what's already available, it's not a lot. If you look at PlayStation Now right now, I think there's maybe a dozen PS2 games. The vast majority of PlayStation Now is PS3 games and a good selection of PS4 games. No PS1 games, but they had all the backwards compatible PS1 games on the PS3.
PS3, so yes. The first iteration of PS3, I believe.
Yeah, so maybe they're kind of bringing that back. This is the thing I wanted most from PlayStation. I wanted them to turn PS Now into a legacy platform.
Yeah.
I wanted PS Now to host all of their old retro games that they could possibly muster. But then again, PlayStation's always been like, we're not worried about classic games. We're not worried about backwards compatibility. We're doing our own thing. And now here they are doing it anyways. But I hope that it is good. I hope that it delivers on what I want from it. As far as the number, I think that's to be seen as far as what those numbers actually mean. Like PlayStation Now does have a pretty large number of games on it, but if you look at that library, it's not super impressive.
Yeah, sure. It never really has been month to month.
Yeah, so And now PlayStation Now, like Game Pass, has a similar system of the games cycle and rotate in and out. They're never there permanently. And that's part of like how those systems and subscription services work is they pay like a license to have X game for X amount of time.
Right.
And if a game's doing particularly well, maybe they renew that license. Maybe they keep it going. Like some games have been on Game Pass since it started and not Xbox exclusive games.
Sure.
Some games come and go. Like Red Dead Redemption was on Game Pass for a while. You know, Grand Theft Auto was on Game Pass for a while.
And so with Game Pass, does that mean you have to download the game and then you own it after you have it on Game Pass?
You don't own it, but you have access to it for as long as it's on Game Pass.
Game Pass, okay.
And if you have a Game Pass membership, you can buy the game at a discount as well.
And then it's streamed like
you
locally off.
You download it. Okay. Yeah, that's what I prefer. In Game Pass, you download the game, or something that I've been taking advantage of a lot lately is if you have Game Pass Ultimate, a lot of games now have cloud on console. You can stream it to your console. So a lot of times, if I want to try a game before I download it, I'll do the cloud stream and I'll play it for a little while. And sometimes I'm like, okay, cool, this is fun, but not for me. I'm done. Or like small games like Unpacking. Great game. Highly recommend it.
Cute
super
game.
chill. Super fun. I played that entire game start to finish by streaming it through the cloud on Xbox.
It's
and that's
so good.
That's a service specifically to Game Pass Ultimate. Like you don't get it otherwise. And it works. Like my experience with PS Now is hit or miss.
That's probably why I don't really use it or like it, because when I first started it, it was awful. Like I could not play any of the games on it. It hasn't gotten much better. Okay, well then I don't need it.
I was very annoyed because like I want legacy games, especially like Ratchet and Clank. If you want to play Ratchet and Clank on your PlayStation Now, you have to use PS Now. And it streams, and it's even with my really good internet connection, I had lag and button input lag. There was delays and like audio glitches. And my least favorite thing is if you pause a game that's streaming and you leave it alone for 15 minutes, it ends the stream. And you could potentially lose any save files or any save data. And it's like, I've been burned by that a couple of times. Like, no.
And then rage quit.
Yeah.
Right. Fucking, I would. But last time game,
I'm hopeful. I already pay for PlayStation Plus. I already pay for PlayStation Now, so I'm gonna be one of those people that gets like rolled into the package deal.
Yeah, true.
Are you upset, Kate? I heard him growl at me.
Oh no!
Sorry.
Attention.
It's because I'm talking very passionately. He gets into
it.
Yeah.
So
my dog has been asleep in between my legs this entire time.
I will definitely be. I will be waiting with bated breath to see what they offer and see how it delivers. The not getting PlayStation exclusives day one is definitely a big because Xbox is doing it. So
yeah.
Okay. Anyways, I've seen a lot of people try to say, well, the new PlayStation Plus isn't a Game Pass competitor. Like, then what is it if it's not a Game Pass competitor?
100% a Game Pass competitor.
Yeah, but Sony says
it absolutely is. Anyways. Why would Sony come out and say? I feel like Sony just shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah,
and it's because like Sony will probably take this on and be like, "No, this is a premium service. Like we don't compete with anybody because like we're a standalone." I was like, "No, Game Pass exists. You're going to compete with Game Pass."
Sony is a very egotistical company as well. So
they're going to hear you.
My bad. Will Smith is going to come in and slap me. No.
Yeah.
They're going to start hiring. No.
Feel that tingle inside of your face?
Excuse me?
It was a slap.
No, it's like, they have the battle with Disney over the Marvel characters, Spider-Man and stuff like that. So they like to hold their ground. So of course they're not going to say, "Hey, we listened to you guys and we know that you wanted something like Game Pass. So here it is." They're not going to say that.
No, they're never going to admit defeat.
Again, like I said, they said they weren't going to worry about backwards compatibility, but yet
here we are. We've wanted this for so long as well. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I wanted to pick up some PlayStation 1 games and just play them on my current gen console, and I just couldn't, and it's so frustrating to me. So I'm really, really excited to have this back. I'm so excited. I want to see what titles they're going to put on there, because I'm like, if you're going to just put on like 3 games, that's not what you said. I was like, no. You have to go fucking full hog at this. Like, I want to see some random ass shit on PlayStation 1, please.
You got to keep in mind, like, that's 700 games. There's probably going to be 300 to 400 of those games are going to be teeny tiny little shit games.
Correct. Yeah.
The ones that are on PlayStation now, that it's like, I don't want to play any of these.
340 games altogether extra for the backward compatible games. So it's like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2,
it's
PS3, and PS Now.
Okay. I'm curious about the PSP too.
Extra.
The PSP has some pretty good bangers on there, like Kingdom Hearts: Birth by Sleep, and there's some good Monster Hunter. Anyways, we've gone long on this. We could probably go longer.
Anyway, sorry, we have gone past the time. Thank you so much. You want to take us home, Dan?
I suppose.
Well, all in all, I can't freaking wait for this Hogwarts game.
Yes, that's how we're going to end this. We're all excited for Hogwarts Legacy. We all can't wait. And you can tell us how excited you are for Hogwarts Legacy at thereplayerpodcast.com. Leave comments on our post on couchsoup.com, where you can listen to our wonderful podcast and read articles by fellow contributors at couchsoup.com. I'm Dan. Thank you, Pagan. Thank you, Michelle, for this wonderful Harry Potter Hogwarts themed conversation.
I'm
so
sure,
long and game over. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like probably not the last time we're gonna be discussing this game on this
I'm sure.
This show.
No.
And I'm sure we'll have you back.
Come back in 6 months when we're having the exact same conversation when we're playing the game.
Oh my god, yes!
I know, my gosh. It's always a joy. It's always fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Thank you.
And that's game over. So long, folks.
Bye. Aw, thanks. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, are those Harry Potter tattoos?
Yeah. This is a full screen.
Oh, hold on. No. We're gonna this out. I want to record that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm recording.
Oh, great.
Oh.
All right. I'll just get straight into it then.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the. Okay. Do you want me to go again? Oh shit! Do you have a Ravenclaw scarf?
Go record.
Oh, I have a.
Sorry.
Honey, throw me my Gryffindor scarf, please.
No, just
come on. Wait, I have a Gryffindor scarf, but I'm not Gryffindor.
It's hanging in the closet.
Okay, hold on. Wait.
No, you're ruining my bit. Shit.
Honey, hurry up, please.